What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me with Buzzing with Marlowe live, live, live. I say it again. Woo! Live. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. Every Friday, new episode of Buzzing with Marlowe. I hope everybody is having a great, great day, guys. It's the end of the week. You have made it. You have accomplished that crazy week that you had. It is time to refresh, regenerate the batteries, and get ready for this great, great weekend, guys. I am Warren Marlowe from the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. And if you haven't, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and many, many more. And even, of course, Instagram. All right, guys. I What a week. What a week. Like everybody knows, y'all's week is ending. Mine's just beginning. So if everybody doesn't know, if you are new to the channel, I work on weekends. I work Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then I'm off Tuesday through Friday. So what I do is I work a warehouse, do a podcast, stay home dad, and husband. Those are the titles that I have. And basically, my free time is gym and podcast. So literally, those are really the only times I really have a lot of free time. But guys, if you also have it, check out our merch. If you're not seeing this right here, my white hoodie, check it out. Check out the merch. Check out the merch on our bonfire shop. Right, the link below. Check it out. Literally, man. Oh my goodness, these things are going out quick, going out fast. Guys, we are still into the March area. So right now, merch right now, we're doing the giveaway. We're on the second to last week before the giveaway is given. The way to enter is basically you screenshot after you buy a merch. So say like if you wanted to get a long sleeve right here. So what you would do, you screenshot it, send it to me. I give you a shout out and you enter into a drawing. And guys, I'm looking so forward to actually talking about that drawing really soon. And I think maybe next week I'll reveal something of what we're gonna do for that. Also, guys, we have the V-neck shirts, many options on colors and stuff like that. And of course, we even have the big famous popular ones, which really was shocking to me, are the three-fourths baseball tees. Uh, the colors right now, I'm telling you right now, the most popular one, guys, believe it or not, is the baby blue. The baby blue is literally the most popular one. And of course, we got the long sleeves, uh, many options on colors. And also, ladies, I didn't forget about you. No summer's coming, so guess what? We got the Razorbacks for you, ladies. And of course, I'm sure everybody knows the pink ones are the main popular one. The pink, the white, and of course the black. The red is slowly getting back up. Maybe I'll change that color up a little bit. I think it's just too much red, especially with the logo. Also, guys, but if you if you just need a plain T-shirt, guess what? Any size, whatever, we got them. Check it out. Those are the Bonfire Shop merch. And of course, guys, we have my white hoodie. I wear it a lot, often, just because my wife likes to freeze me in the house. And I am not kidding when I say this. Like, it is super cold in my house. We live in Florida, but you open that door, you're feeling the wind coming out the door because then you know you are entering in Alaska, aka the Marlowe household. Um, Shout out to my wife. I guess it gets cold. I guess people like it cold in the house. Hey, hey, it's all good. But guys, like I said, I hope everybody is doing well. It is Friday. Last week's episode, what a great results that we had just all around for Buzzing with Marlowe, guys. This is episode 90. 90. We're 10 away from the big 100. 10 away from the big 100. And guys, I usually don't give a date, whatever, when we're about to do a cutoff moment. But you know what? Episode 100 is going to be the big season finale of season 3 of Buzzing with Marlowe. Then we're going to take a 2 month break, and then we're going to come right back and ready to roll. Guys, there's a lot of new graphics I've got to the upcoming episodes. I have a lot of new things going to be going on, and a lot of new exciting guests, news, and a lot of stuff going on regarding the podcast Buzzing with Marlowe. But guys, if everybody doesn't remember, I did a concert recently. It was called One Night in Harlem. It was for my boy. The main eventer was Jay Lyric. But there was also a lot of other artists there, a lot of great talent. And guys, I was so I was so blessed to actually be a part of that group. Because obviously I'm not a singer or whatever, but I was very blessed to be a part of that team to get prepared for this show, get everything in works, getting everything set up, getting just stuff, getting this show rolling. If y'all don't remember, man, we were promoting on every episode nonstop. I'm not saying that could possibly have been bought the ones buying the tickets, but we were doing our part. We were airing it out, showing as much as we can. Uh, Great turnout. It was a great turnout. Great to be back in Jacksonville, Florida to see something like that. It was awesome to see some Buzzing with Marlowe fans there. I mean, there were some. I mean, a lot of people didn't know who we were. I mean, but that's normal. That's going to happen. I'm not going to be on this show sitting there lying to y'all saying, yeah, the whole concert went out there just because of my podcast. I'm not that type of person. Never will be, and I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. Minimum was probably maybe like seven people knew of the podcast. So I'm not even going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, we had a great turnout. Buzzing with Marlowe signed 50 autographs and we sold out the building and stuff. Nah, they were there for the artists. Also, guys, one main particular artist is my guest today. Today, guys, my guest is an upcoming performer. Um, I met this guy at the concert from One Night in Harlem. He actually stood out of most of the artists to me compared to just how the show was going and stuff like that. And one thing that caught my eyes with this guy is how humble he was. And when I say how humble he was, I mean the guy literally came in, first one to come in the door, always greeted everyone. I mean, I'm old school when I have my old wrestling background, man. One thing that you learned in wrestling was when you show up, you greet everybody, regardless what name on the totem pole or whatever. Like you greet everyone. You show everyone that exact same respect. This is what he did, and that's what I got major respect for this guy is because it's more said than done. I mean, this guy came in there humble, done what he needed to do, and killed it on the show, man. One of the guys I could say definitely stood out in this concert was definitely this guy. I keep saying this guy, guys. My guest today is Aura, rapper, upcoming performer, heart driven, and man, I'm looking so forward to having this chat with him. We're gonna be discussing basically about the concert, what built up to it, and how long he's been doing his occupation and stuff, and like what drives him each and every day. So, guys, when countdown goes from 30 to 1, we will be joined with Aura. And guess what, guys? The question is, are you ready? Because I need to know. I need to know. Can y'all be ready for this? Are y'all?
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right. All right. I guess we're ready. So, guys, the countdown will start in 3, 2, 1 right now. All right, guys. I am joined with the one and only Aura. How you doing, man?
What's up? I'm doing great, man. Today's been
Hey,
good.
man, it's good to see. Good to see you again. I mean, it's been what, about 2 weeks since the concert now? Been about
Two
2 weeks?
weeks?
No, that actually was
Yeah.
last week. That's a lie.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
I was
last
about to
week.
say, I was like, yeah, time is moving slow though, so I feel that, man. Like, there's been
How are
so
you
much to
feeling,
do every
man?
day.
I mean, with all that we perform and stuff like that, are you like currently in Jacksonville or you somewhere else?
So I stay on the edge of St. Augustine and
Okay.
Jacksonville, so pretty much like on US one and stuff like that, close to like racetrack and everything. So, um, yeah, going out to Jacksonville and stuff like that is a little commute, but I do it all the time because I like staying in the city as much as
Mm-hmm.
possible. So, you know.
Okay.
That's why I'm
All
on right
right,
now.
so like I said before, we met based off of at the concert for one night in Harlem, and man,
Mhm.
what a success that was all
Yeah.
around. Major shout out to all y'all on it because y'all did y'all's thing. Y'all really helped that. I mean, when we first started the episode, and I was sitting there thinking like
Yeah.
people were gonna be lined up at the door and stuff like that.
True.
It was different. Everybody apparently just did not want to be first going into a concert.
Yo, like to be honest, man, like just the turnout, it was crazy because a lot of people were trying to come in even before the doors even open and stuff. And
Yeah.
me and Jay was talking, and he was like, "Man, like when you pull up there, stuff like that, you're gonna see quite a bit of people and stuff." And hey, he was true. He packed it out.
Y'all definitely did. I mean, it was crazy because we had an itinerary. Like I remember before we did the show and stuff like that
Yeah.
was like, all right, 8:30 we're gonna have our first performer and stuff like that. We
Hmm.
actually had to wait a little bit longer because
Yeah.
more people were coming in the door and we were trying to get everything set up and stuff like that. So it was a great opportunity,
Yeah.
great turnout, definitely because I mean, boy, oh man, I mean, I used to promote wrestling shows when I was in wrestling. That
Yeah.
was a whole different scenario. That was definitely
Hmm.
out of my comfort zone in so many
Yeah.
ways. But it was kind of similar in some things, but it's so hard. And I'm starting to notice that it's harder to promote a music concert than it would be
Hmm.
for any other show because the generation we're in now, man, it's like
Yeah.
they're not really into that R&B. Not that you have to really find people that are really into that R&B type music now. Even
Yeah.
though most of the music now is more mumble hip hop or whatever.
No.
My goodness, it's just like I I used to be all about hip hop. I used to
Yeah.
love hip hop and stuff. But I've tried to listen to some of the newer generation stuff and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe I'm
Well,
just starting to hit my age now.
yeah, it's like, well, the thing now, because in the music scene or like atmosphere now, you get a lot of people who, a lot of listeners listen to like multiple genres. You know what I mean? Like whereas
Hmm.
you had your like R&B, then you had your boom bap crowd and stuff, but because of like all these different like when they had Erica Badu and Neo Soul started blowing up, but then you had them featuring with like rap artists, and then you had the like New Jack Swing, where now it's like you
Hmm.
got R&B artists and rap artists making R&B and hip hop songs. You got Mary
Yeah.
J. Blige and Biggie and stuff. So because of that, like cross, now you have people who genre blend, which is just what I'm going to call it. Like you have your Anderson .Paak, you have your Smino. Like even me and some of my music and stuff like that, like I mix elements of multiple genres together. So I feel like for this time and this age and stuff, the music that's really going to be taking off. Yeah, we had our trap stuff, all that is going to have its space, but I feel like
Hmm.
globally, what's really going to hit is when like artists start learning how to kind of like
Expand.
mixed martial artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when the fighting scene first started, like the UFCs and stuff, like you had your jujitsu people, yeah, your kickboxing people, but now it's like you can't just focus on the one art. Like if you just the Muay Thai guy and stuff like that, it's not going to cut it. Like you have to start mixing all
Hmm.
these different styles. So that's how the music scene is getting now.
Yeah, I have noticed that. And that's one thing I remember like I don't know if anybody told y'all, but the
Yeah,
way me and Jay Lyric knew each other was based off of playing competitive flag football. That's
yeah,
literally how we met. And man, we've
hmm,
gotten to be so close and stuff like that. For him to give me the opportunity to be on his concert and stuff like that was
yeah,
really awesome. And I remember when he was talking about he was singing, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh man, you're like the 90th nine person that's sitting here probably about to do another hip hop album. And
yeah,
no, he sent me some of his music. He's like, bro, literally, I'm an R&B singer, and I was just like, okay, let me check it out.
yeah,
And because I mean, even when I was younger, man, I'll be honest with you, I liked R&B more than anything.
yeah,
Um, when I joke with people, I was like, you know what, R&B was like my country music. Like how people love
hmm,
country music was how I loved R&B. I
yeah,
loved R. Kelly, Keith Sweat,
true,
the Boys to Men, what was it? Remember that P Diddy group that he did the Making the Band, the Day 26. I loved any of
yeah,
their albums. Like I loved like that slower paced music. Like I
yeah,
literally loved it. Nelly, I meant not Nelly, Neo, Usher.
yeah,
Usher's still one of my favorite singers. Neo was really getting to being really big for a while, and I don't know what the hell happened to Neo.
I mean,
Um,
Neo was one of those cases where he started like writing behind the scenes and stuff, you know. But the
he's the
rest of
R and
it,
B soldier boy. I would probably say like
yo, to,
he had some good hits like for a while. I was
yeah,
like, bruh, Neo might hit Usher level, and then
yeah,
obviously Chris Brown came in, and I don't know what the hell happened after Neo, but Neo
yeah.
went to no no.
Yeah, I mean, like even like some people now, like in recent years. So you had like Joey Bad with Pro Era, and they were like really huge, and it's like, oh, they can be like the Wu Tang, and like even me, I feel
Hmm.
like Joey Bad's Project 1999 is our generation's Illmatic, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people don't really see him putting out music as much as far as like the past like 2.5 years, but he's been
Hmm.
ghostwriting in the back. He actually ghost wrote the song Rockstar by Post Malone and 21 Savage. So, you
Hmm.
know, they be working behind the scenes a lot, which is something that I was thinking about getting into a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because you can get a lot of money off of that, especially if you're writing for the right people and giving them the right
Yeah.
tracks. Because this was just like recent information that came out. Well, recent to my knowledge that I found out, but Jay Z wrote "Still" with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Hmm.
So, like,
It's crazy. It's crazy how the music really is changing. Like
mm,
I would compare some of the music. Like I said, I mean I'm in an older generation stuff. Like yeah,
yeah,
I mean rap hip hop to me was like Eminem, um,
mm,
Method Man.
yeah,
Those were
Redman,
my guys.
yeah,
Method Man, all those guys. Method Man, Redman, all those dudes. DMX, stuff like that. Like these were the
yeah,
guys I would listen to those guys like when you're either mad or of course when I would be in the gym. Those would be like
yeah,
those were the mindsets of like okay, this is the type of music that you need to listen to. And
yeah,
now this newer generation and stuff, and it's just like they're wanting to rhyme everything, but it's just like doesn't make that much sense. But then when you're thinking about, it, I'm like,
yeah,
when you were jamming out to Lil Wayne, Lil Wayne's making up words just to rhyme, and you don't even have
yeah,
like
like,
one time I literally looked up the lyrics of three of his songs, and some of the lyrics that you were hearing, I'm like, what the fuck was he saying? Like,
I know
disregard
what
my
you
language, but I was just like,
mean.
when you
Yeah,
listen to the lyrics, it's like just because of the beat was going with it, you're just sitting there like, yeah, yeah. And then you looking back, it's like, did I just say that? Like, what? And I mean, we sit here and we rag on the generation of they're rapping now, and I'm like, Lil Wayne started that crap. Like, literally, we sit here, and, oh, he's one of the best alive, best this, best
yeah.
that, and I'm just like, man, like that. He really said that in a song,
Hey, like, yo, but
and
if
we
you
all
say
jamming
technical
out to it.
skills,
So it's like, well, we're the
yeah.
victim to it, I guess.
I was even thinking to myself, I heard this one song by Snoop Dogg. You know the one where Pharrell was like, "Ooh," you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like in the last verse, I think I was listening to it. I was letting it just play through. Like I didn't actually select it. It's a cool song, but
You
at
gotta
the
be in the
end he
mood
was
for it.
like, yeah, at the end of the song, he was like, "We keep the for shizzle my nizzle and keep the dizzle for sheezy," and I was like, "What the heck is this?" Like it,
That
like I
shit sound
never
like a
caught that.
Snickers.
Like, like I never caught that. Like it was just like a comic book. It was just onomatopoeias for the last four bars, and I was just like, "Did this man really say that?" And like even the one that people bring up when Lil Wayne said "Wheezy F baby" and the F is for phenomenal, and they're like, phenomenal starts with a PH. I don't think he got that one. That
You
wasn't
gotta
it.
remember, this boy, he didn't go that far in high school.
Look, like the well, one thing that I was talking to some of my friends about, I was like walking at the art walk, and I was telling them, I said, you know, you have your lyrical technicians, the ones that can put all the different rhymes together and stuff like that and make
Hmm.
everything connect. And they're focused on the syllable count and all that. And the technicians of a craft get overlooked because there's like a medium. There's like on the one extreme, it's just style. On the other
Hmm.
extreme, it's like your technicalities. So it's pretty much like meeting in the middle is where it's like, okay, you're onto something like a Jay Z. Like a Jay-Z
Hmm.
has the flow and he has the style, and he can put the bars together and make lines come together. Kendrick Lamar is one of them.
And he was
J. Cole's
changing it
one of
up
them.
too, like when he would do
Yeah.
like stuff with Linkin Park and stuff like that. It
Hmm.
was giving more eyes to a different visual in ways. They look at it and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Jay Z could do that scenario." I was not even a real big fan of Jay Z for a longest time. Like some of his songs, I was
Hmm.
just like, it's either they took too long to actually make you have an effect to it, or
Yeah.
it's just like, bruh, did you just like re say what you said on your last 5 albums? Like, what in the world?
No,
Like,
like
you know
I
what I mean?
remember.
Like, it's just some of those songs. Like Lil
Yeah.
Wayne is a great example of that too, because Lil Wayne literally would say the same verses in like 9 of his songs, and like like the song Fireman. He would use like the last 4 verses of that song and like
Hmm.
almost that entire album that he made. I'm just sitting there like, you should have just used that last 4 and just let that been the name of your album. And I'm just sitting there like, and it works. I mean, it works because
Hmm.
you're getting all those other verses, and then when that last 4 it comes, oh shit, he did it again, and I'm sitting here
Yeah, he did
bumping
it
to it
again.
like no problem, like
Yeah.
it's just crazy like how music is like
Hmm.
how we say now to compare what it was like maybe 10 years ago
Hmm.
because I I never thought I'd be at that part where I'm like, well, back in my day and stuff, I'm like, oh shit, now it's almost
Hey, I
there
say that
now.
now. I'm 23 and I say
It's
that
like,
now.
oh
It's
man,
like
how old are you?
23.
Oh, you're 23. Okay. Oh
Yeah.
damn, young
So
young you over there, man.
a young elder, but like
I
nah,
got I'm
but
30 right now, so
you know, I feel you. Well, one thing that I was thinking to myself is like music is it's one of the only forms of entertainment where it's like it bypasses your like consciousness or your conscious decision to be like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm about to receive everything that's happening. Like once the beat comes on, it's already triggering your mind in a way to put you in a zone. So it's like the way things have changed over time, it's like our parents listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire track, that instrumentation already puts them into a zone. The thing is, for a
Mhm.
lot of their music, they didn't have to necessarily worry about the theme behind it, right? Until it started transitioning to where themes started getting more like risque and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, they're
Yeah.
with it, but it's like you're using terminology that doesn't hit point blank. Like
It
you're
doesn't, yeah.
using a metaphor and you're saying something about the stars and the moon, and you could be talking about all types of stuff happening in a warehouse behind the packages. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's like nowadays, it's like the vibrations aren't compatible with certain people, so they can pinpoint the lyrics. Like I was talking to my homie earlier today actually about NWA, right?
Mhm.
And Dr. Dre, if you see this, don't blackball me. But pretty much what I was seeing was it was an NWA song, and like in the beginning, it's like a woman on the phone with 911. She's like, "Somebody's in my house," and then she was like, "Ma'am," and then like it pretty much goes into the audio of her getting shot by the person, and then the beat drops afterwards, and I'm like, this is terrible. Like, how do you like boom? Yeah, blew her face off and dropped the beat. Like, how do you put that in the studio? But it's like when the vibrations don't resonate with you, you know, you can pinpoint the lyrics, and that's why you have to be conscious, like while you're listening to stuff. Like, what are they
Mhm.
saying? Because I can chill, but all those messages are being received. So I think a lot of people right now is just the repeat, and the music's going to get worse the less we start consciously making a decision of supporting the right things. But one
Mhm.
thing that I've noticed is that so much of the same thing is getting produced to where people have no choice but to say, wait a second, I heard this 1,000 times already, and they keep on dropping the same song and it's getting repetitive. So now they're hearing the lyrics and they're like, this is weird, this is strange.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a blueprint
That's
that they
that's
got.
how I feel with Lil Wayne stuff, man. Cause I used
Yeah.
to like all my class, like literally
Hmm.
all love Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
I remember when he was literally on every remix for a year,
Oh
and
yeah,
literally
true.
it would just be that Wheezy F baby, and he would start something, and then like he would
Oh,
have his little verse in there, and I'm just
yeah.
sitting like, I love how you just said something about the NWA thing because like
Uh-huh.
it's back then music. Gosh, I hope no one gets onto us on this, but it was
Yeah.
more like a horror film. Like it was more like a
Yeah.
horror film. Like they were trying to make an approach like this is a hard life. Like could you
Hmm.
really could you literally be in my shoes type scenario? Like
Yeah.
the stuff we got to live with. People breaking in my door each and every week or something like that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, in a way, they made an approach to it to help present something, but they
Mhm.
also made a bad representation with it as well because
Yeah,
you're sitting there going, okay, this is my life. Your life ain't got nothing on mine. Like
true.
that was kind of like how it was. It was like a bragging rights ordeal.
Hmm.
And when we
Oh,
got more into the other generation, it was more about, the cars, the money,
hmm,
the chains and stuff like that. And it escalated to what it is now because
yeah,
like it was like in sections. Like we had the hard life, I mean, what we remember, well, like, I don't know, God forbid, like in
yeah.
the 30s and 40s and all that. I
Right,
don't know any of that. But from what I know is we went from the hardcore life to literally, okay, now we're on the material stuff, which in my generation, that's what we remember most is all the material songs like T.I., all them
yeah.
guys like that.
50
And then
Cent, yeah.
obviously we got the ones now that is just like when you take it, when you look back and you listen to it and you're like, you know what? The lyrics sound great, but
Hmm.
you have to like listen to it as much like you just said, like 30 to 40 times to just really
Yeah.
understand what the hell is going on. And sometimes it's kind of like a kid with ice cream, man. When you like the chocolate, yeah, you're gonna keep chewing to bite it until you're done. But if you
Yeah.
take one bite and it's not what you like, then guess what? You're just gonna throw it away and say, yeah, this
True.
is garbage, and I'm not gonna look at it again.
Yeah.
Like those are
And that's the
different
thing.
ways to look at it.
True. I was gonna say even with that analogy and stuff, some people it's like you bite the ice cream and people tell you can only have it in small dosages or
Mm-hmm.
it's not good to have, right? And as a child, your parents gatekeep those things. Like I remember when I was little, you only got one fruit roll up after dinner. But it's like now I'm
Yep.
older, I can buy a whole box of fruit roll ups. Now I'm sick of them because I ate six of them in one night and stuff. And it's like,
That's McDonald's to
yo,
me, man. I used to love McDonald's. Like
eh,
my mom and them would literally treat me like, "Hey,
yeah,
we'll go to McDonald's today," and it was like very rare days. And then it was just like
mhm,
when we got at McDonald's, like because I lived in Yulee, and they built one
yeah,
literally right by my house. And like when I had high school and stuff, man, we would go eat McDonald's before for breakfast, go eat McDonald's for lunch, go eat
yeah,
McDonald's before practice, go eat McDonald's after practice. That burned me
yeah,
out, and this was just my ninth grade year. I literally
yeah,
said I'm done with McDonald's. Like the only time I'll go to McDonald's now is when I want to take my kids to it because I won't eat
yeah,
it. And my wife can vouch for it. Like she literally has seen me eat McDonald's twice the whole 6 years that we've been together, and I get sick from eating it
yeah,
because it's just like it's just like man, when you ate that so much, and I think that's another good thing. Like my mom used to do that stuff with me with soda. I rarely
mhm,
ever drink soda now, and I that was my
yeah,
thing when I was little. Like that was my stuff. Like
mhm,
you couldn't don't get in the way of my soda. Now it's just like man,
yeah. But
I
that
can't
that
even
that's the
look at
thing
it
too.
sometimes.
It's crazy when you think about it because even you can even go as far as to say this, like the rappers are the parents in a way because it's like they're only giving you a small dosage of a life that you wouldn't
Hmm.
actually want to be in if you had to take your chances in it for a week or for a month. And it's so
Hmm.
crazy because even to the extent that, you know, these rappers and stuff that are in the streets that glorify it and just be like, hey, look, what I mean, my whole gang, we do this, we kill people, all that and stuff like that. And people are really like, hey, like, I want to fight, I want to do
They
something.
really
But
believe this stuff.
yeah,
They really believe
and,
it.
and once it gets to that actual place, then it's like, oh wait, like this isn't what I thought it was. And it never really is because, like you were saying, you know, NWA had its political songs and stuff like that, like a handful. But if you go to a large amount of their catalog, once again, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, if you want me in a movie and stuff like that, I got you, my dog. But when you go to some of these other songs, it's like it doesn't sound like, hey man, like this is hard. Like it sounds more so like, hey, look, I got an AK-47, I got a Mag 10, I got all that stuff that you guys see in Call of Duty. And guess what? If somebody wants it, I'm giving them all the shells and no consequences, Because like it's
There
very
ain't no
rare that you hear a
repeat.
rapper say, yeah,
There's
like
no
there's
reset
no
button.
response. No response. There's no GG at the end. Good game, bro. Oh, I saw that kill cam. I loved it, bro. I loved it. Let's run another game of Rust. There's no quick scoping. There's no aim assist. There's none of that.
No senso beans
And
to come back from this.
hey, look, no seven Dragon Balls to wish you back. If you Corilla, you're done. you're done. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, and I even went to the extent of saying this about my own music. You know, I don't promote like any violence or like sexual activity or drugs or anything like that. But even to the
Mhm.
extent of just voicing my anger in a wise manner, like I have to be responsible about that, right? Because I could put out a song that sounds amazing, being completely mad and angry, and people will be like, "Well, you were angry," and it's like true, but when someone takes that like energy in that pocket of emotions and they're in an unstable space, that might trigger something, you know. Whereas in I listen to a sad song and it opens up an emotional wound, and I feel like that is a trap in itself. So you have to be able to provide clarity at the end of these songs to end, like wrap it up, you know. And that's the one thing that I
Mhm.
aim to do when I make songs. It's like, okay, I'll have a sad album, but at the end it's going to be wrapped up. It's going to be a conclusion, so that a person isn't just left with the depressed, like, you
Right.
know, vibe of the album. It's like you leave it on the end of my album, Volume Two. I have a song called "No Regrets," "Your Love," and "Better in Life." So literally, all this sad stuff comes to a culmination of three songs, giving thanks to all the people who supported me through my hard times, saying that I'm better, saying that, you know, I have no regrets at the end of this, because it does an injustice to people to it does an injustice for people who don't know how to get out their situation, to then tell them about your situation, which is the same, and you're out of it with no point of escape or no point of
Mhm.
like relief at the end of their tunnel, you know. So you're just going to keep them in that cycle, you know. So
Right. I like how you approach that, man, because I mean, and now my age and stuff, like I've been actually starting to listen to a lot more Christian rap. And it's
yeah.
kind of the same verses, but it's like
Hmm.
reversed to talking about the Bible verses and stuff like. And it really is
Yeah.
good. Like I went.
Hmm.
I don't really go to a lot of concerts. I remember I told you about this when
Yeah.
I was just like, man, how small that building was. Like those speakers, like my goodness, we're at the door and you can
Yeah.
still. It sounds like you got them in
The
your ears
stack.
completely. And it was
Yeah.
just like I wasn't used to stuff like that. And I went to a what is it called, the Winter Jam, and I got to listen
Hmm.
to certain bands and stuff there, and I was just like, okay, they sound like Linkin Park. They sound really good.
Yeah.
And when I was listening to the verses, I'm like, okay, now, I mean, in ways I could teach my kid to listen to this because hey, it's not showing hey, this is the that life or stuff like that. This is
Yeah.
teaching them hey, you can listen to what type of music you want to listen to, but
Hmm.
here's the right approach on the words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's one thing you do have to like when now that we become parents and stuff like that. I don't know if you
Hmm.
have a kid or anything, knowing that you're only
Nah.
23,
Yeah.
you still growing, but you got a good mindset at
Hmm.
23 years old because a lot of other people like I'm about getting this girl, I'm about to get this money, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like I'm not trying to taunt anybody, but that's usually that
Yeah.
mindset because you're still growing. You're still very
Yeah.
new into that
Life.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you could also be into that bubble in ways because
Hmm.
the people that were around, the crowd type scenario and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it's just crazy to see like how different and driven you are. What
Thank you, man.
singers did you listen to actually really inspire you, and like how did you really start getting to pursue this occupation that you are in? Because I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
this is something like you've been doing for a while, but I
Yeah.
want to know like what got you to want to do this like professionally and stuff like that.
Well, to summarize the intro of it, what happened was I was looking at 106 in Park, like way back then in middle school, and I saw Little Twist, his one music video, "New Money," and I remember watching it. I was like, oh, like I don't really have a passion right now, but it used to be video game programming, but then I was like, I gave up on that, and then I was like, oh, Little Twist, New Money. Well, I mean, this is easy. Like the stuff he's writing isn't that hard. You know what I mean? Soon as like, yeah, did I spend it? I'm like, I can write something like that. And at the time, actually, I was very a qualified illiterate right there. And like I wasn't a good writer or reader at all. But I said, yo, I want to do this. Like and like I could get money this way. So it was like a focus just on money. And like my best friend called me right when I had that thought. And he said, hey, bro, have you ever thought about becoming a rapper? Shout out Brandon Torres. And I was like, yeah, I just thought about it right now. So we freestyled. I freestyled for like 15 minutes the first time I ever freestyled. And he's like, how did you go for so long? And I was like, I don't know. I just cat hat meant I sat. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like I got it. So, continuing from there, I kept writing. I was already listening to like people like Kumo D even before I really got into rapping. And then I started listening to like all the old school guys, Big Daddy Kane. Then like Nas was the first rapper that like blew my mind
Mm-hmm.
when he was like, vocals are squeeze Glocks and CZs drop, though they need not to speak. And I was like, whoa, what did he just say? So that started making me want to become lyrical. Tupac made me want to become more introspective with my raps. Nas gave me the poetry, Biggie gave me the flow from a foundation wise. Big Pun put me on to more technical skills like multi-syllable rapping. And then Big L had me deep on punchlines. My best friend told me, hey, bro, you need to work on your intro to verses. I wrote like over 100 intros like in the span of like 5 months, and I wrote over 100 and something like hooks to practice on my hooks and everything like that. I used to write over 100 bar songs, and I was like, yo, like I can do this. And when I was 16, after listening to Big Pun, You Came Up, I wrote a verse. And the verse goes like, hey, yo, I remember saying all the pain that almost ended me, feeling the trend of entropy, mentally, detrimentally, milliseconds, not centuries, still a second, they step to me. And like after writing that, I had that like thought that Kendrick Lamar had where he was like, I told brothers when I was 16 that I write at 16 to put a fella right on the big screen. And I was like, yo, I can actually do something. And I went through times of feeling like I wasn't as good. But after overcoming all those things, because I told myself when I first found it as my passion, I would never let another dream be destroyed again. So
Yeah.
I started coming up with that. Listened to Neo Soul for a whole year in 2017, I think, and got that want to make smoother music. Then I came out with a song called Sorry to Say, and people really liked that. And when I came out with my first 5 songs on SoundCloud, they were all different sounds of hip hop, which is a foreshadowing of how I started like making different genre sounding musics and stuff like that. But from there, met up with this one guy, Jesse, who was cool with my best friend. He got me into the studio with my brother Wins now that recorded all my projects, and we continue to work still to this day. And I met a whole team, Jaquan, Drew, and all of them and stuff like that. And it just got my mind set on the fact that we can do this. My purpose switched because when I started my writing journey, I started my spiritual journey at 11 years old and stuff like that. So I relearned many things about life, the meaning behind music, the power and the purpose behind it. And it became less and less about the money and more about the impact and the power that I have and the purpose that I found. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm going to continue to do it.
Hey, I love that. I love how you said you had a spiritual spot at like 11
Mhm.
years old, because that's got to be a lot because you're only 11. Like
Yeah.
you're still very young, very able to grow, and for you to take
Yeah.
that step to go, you know what? I want to take a step back and learn something about this because
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, speaking of just me at 11, I mean, I really wouldn't have cared to listen to anything like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I've been more about
True.
what at 11, I think I was into Pokemon and stuff like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember all that, but it's like
Uh,
if it was about Pokemon or sports or something like that, you got my
mm,
attention. Or maybe
yeah.
superheroes or something like. Not
Hmm.
not oh, let's talk about this, and you're just sitting there like
Yeah. Like,
you
I
might want
don't
to use
know.
a metaphor of Captain America or something in here to make me even want to
Yeah.
even have a listen to it. So that just tells you
Right.
how your character is, because you
Yeah.
really wanted to know something and learn
Yeah.
something. And I love how you picked all these certain great artists to
Yeah.
basically help promote what Aura is. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, those are great talents. And I love and seeing how you performed at that concert, you
Uh-huh.
could tell you had a bit of every single one of them. Like you were very humble. You
Yeah.
really didn't say one cuss word in your songs, which would
Yeah.
really shock me in ways because the way rap is and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
even from my generation is you had to say a cuss word. You had to
Yeah.
say one or two cuss words just to get the
Just to get the
crowd
crowd
even
moving.
going
Yeah.
crazier. Then it's like, yeah, middle fingers up, do whatever you want to do. Like
Yeah.
we've had those type of generations, so I could tell when you were getting on stage and stuff. Might I add, it was hard. It was definitely hard to film some of it because obviously
Yeah.
you're walking all
Oh
through there, and
yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to turn the tripod to follow. But you could just tell you were enjoying
Yeah.
yourself. You were entertaining yourself, and you were definitely believing what you were saying. And that is one thing. I'm not an artist. I'm not a music person at all when it comes to like knowing any of these. But one thing I've learned, even doing these podcasts, is you have to know what you're saying. Know
Yeah.
what you have to believe what you're saying to make that thing go real. And I mean, I learned that from wrestling because me playing a
Hmm.
character wearing a mask, supporting red, white, and blue from head to toe, like
Yeah.
me, if that was saying like if I was like a different country type person, stuff like that,
Hmm.
obviously that character wouldn't have been believable because I wouldn't even believe what I'm trying to present. Like you have to
Exactly.
know the character that you have to know who you are before you could present that to somebody. And I could
True.
tell with your song and stuff like that, man, you were in the flow, the crowd was
Yeah.
feeling you, you were enjoying yourself. You
Thank you.
literally didn't even stumble on your words. Like that was some
Hmm.
things I was just noticing with you and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy really can be something in the future. And I love
Thank you,
how
man.
like you're only 23 years old and you
Hmm.
and you sat here and said, "I'm not getting my dream crushed," and
Yeah.
that is one thing that really I was stuck more into when after you said what you said was because that
Hmm.
just tells you how bad you want it. That just tells
Yeah.
you how driven you are to overcome all these obstacles. Because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be easy, regardless of how much talent you
Yeah.
have. What Here's my next question. So, what makes
Hmm.
you stand out compared to artists that are up and coming right now? Like, say, like if there was a contest right now, say, like kind of like an American Idol, but for a hip
Hmm.
hop singer or stuff like that. What would make you stand out more compared to any other artist coming up?
I think what'll make me stand out is that I'm not I'm not in a journey to find my purpose. I found it. I'm not seeking my identity through music. I'm using music to showcase my identity. And also, I didn't go to a gimmick to find my brand. I went to my name and then branded it. So, like everything, my life is different from another person's life. So, in order to compete against you, I've got to find my competitive advantage. My competitive
Hmm.
advantage is that I look at myself and I try to chisel what that block was that stood in front of me, that was Caleb, down to what it's supposed to be afterwards, instead of going to other people and taking pieces of statues and pieces of art and pieces of frames and pictures from other people's lives and try to make it my own. So I feel as though if anybody is coming up that is trying to compete against me and everything like that, I feel like one thing they'll have to understand is that they can't watch me if they're trying to compete against me. If you're trying to be better than me, you can't be focused on me because I'm not focused on you. And usually, if you're focused on my pace, then that's where you're capped at. I'm not capped
Hmm.
anywhere because I'm not focused on if he, she, I'm focused on what is the prophecy over my life, you know? And if I'm supposed to be great and if I'm meant to do this, then that means I got to be great at time management. My time management is going to help me perfect my craft a lot more. Have already spent time writing over thousands of verses, and that's only going to show through my performance and my execution. So I feel like what separates me from other people is that aura is not an alter ego. Aura, I am
Okay,
aura
I
is a
like
statement,
that part.
you know.
Okay.
I am aura is a statement more than it is a name. If anything, it could be a title. It could be a title, and
Hmm.
literally, I am aura means I am the atmosphere, which means that the atmosphere doesn't control me. I bring my own. So I feel like
Hmm.
what, and even the auraverse is a place outside of the energy and the atmosphere of the world. Just like the Bible says, be ye separate. Sanctification means separating yourself or being separate. So what separates me from other people is the fact that literally that's what I do. And everything I do, I'm trying to separate myself from others, trying to
Hmm.
keep what is building the integrity, the communication, all those different things. You know, being a person helped me be a better musician. So I
Hmm.
work on myself because our music is an extension of me. So you're never going to see me do anything in the space of music that is outside of my character. So when I go home and I work on me, I'm actually building up my music. Whereas in a lot of people forget about themselves in order to work on the music.
I
So
love how you approach that. I love how you said that because I mean, from my time in wrestling and stuff like that, like how you
mhm,
just said, you didn't rely on a gimmick, like, or is
yeah,
more of a statement.
yeah,
You are still Caleb, and
yeah,
but Aura is your persona, but you don't rely on aura like
Yeah.
most people. Like when I was American
Yeah.
Prodigy, I relied on American Prodigy because I had a lot of stuff going on as Warren Marlowe. So at
Yeah.
that time, American Prodigy, I felt like couldn't do any harm, couldn't do any wrong. And sometimes I
Yeah.
used to love being American Prodigy more than I loved being myself. And I
Yeah.
had problems sometimes where I was literally acknowledging myself as American Prodigy more than I would as me. And
Yeah.
when I finally took that realization to realize, like, hey, man,
Yeah.
it's just as good to be myself as it is to be AP and stuff like that. Regardless, the
Mhm.
action figures, the shirts, all the merch that people used to do and support me, which I'm forever grateful for because
Yeah.
they gave me something to live a dream, like how you said. Like I got to live a
Mhm.
dream that I've been since I was 5 years old,
Yeah.
and for me to actually be in the ring and not go into a WWE platform or stuff like that, but
Mhm.
to be in that opportunity to do something like that
Mhm.
is second to none. It was really great, really great. Now,
True.
musicians compared to my backstory is
Yeah.
you get really hurt in ways compared to what you do. So you have more of
Yeah.
that longevity fan than what
Yeah.
I had because obviously only 6 years of me being in that business because due to injuries and like how you said, like I relied on a gimmick. I was burnt out. Like I really got my last realization at the very end of my career.
Yeah.
And if I ever did come back in the ring, I would have a way of a different mindset than when I was when I first came in because
Yeah.
I really relied on AP. Like I really thought I needed this and that's
Mhm.
only this. I didn't need to just be, oh, I can work Saturday and Sunday, make good money, then come back on weekends, do this. No, it was a blessing. That
Mhm.
was the thing I had to take a realization of like, what's the impact I'm making? And the
Mhm.
one thing, and I've said it numerous times on my episode, is the one time it made me step back to realize what gave me the reason why I do what I do is because I saw this one fan holding a sign up saying, "Hey, I beat cancer because of you."
Mhm.
And that really struck me instantly because with
Yeah.
my son having autism and stuff like that, and the craziest thing, the kid's name was Matthew, and
Mhm.
that's my son's name, and
Yeah.
that even like struck me even more. And then when I went over there and I talked to him and stuff, and his mom was telling me from the first time I started, when I started in Callahan, Florida, they were there
Mhm.
for it, and he was at stage 4 cancer at that
Dang.
time, and he's followed me through my whole journey. Like there's sometimes that they would travel to a different show just to see my wrestling. And I wouldn't even
Yeah.
notice this stuff because I'm just in that grind like, oh, I'm enjoying the rock star life. I'm American
Exactly.
Project. I can't do harm, whatever.
Yeah.
And when I took Strike Back and I went and I texted my wife right after the show and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know if I can do this much more. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I got this major hit on me in ways, and plus
Yeah.
that same night, not even a day before, my grandfather passed,
Mhm.
and sometimes my family still shames me on it a little bit. It's because I took a booking knowing that his funeral was right around the corner, and I actually
Mhm.
wrestled the night of his funeral, and
Yeah.
I, I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know what to do, so I
Mhm.
just went and wrestled. But when I saw Matthew, shout out to him and his mom,
Mhm.
coming to the shows and paying their hard-earned money to come see me each and every time I was in the ring, it made me know what my reason of being American Prodigy, and it's a beautiful thing because I was just like, you
True.
know what, it was an awesome ride, and that's one reason
Yeah.
why I've done this podcast too because I want people to realize yes, it's great to have a dream. You can
Mhm.
always have a dream, but
Yeah.
there's ways to do it the right way. And when I say the right way is also just know who you really are. Be who
Yeah.
you really are to stand out. That is really how you will stand out to anybody. You
Mhm.
are knowing who you are. Not
Yeah.
say like Aura, you rely on being Aura. No, you know you're Caleb. Caleb and
Yeah.
Aura is the same person.
Yeah.
So I do want to know. I think this would be like almost the final questions that I want to ask. So what's the
Yeah.
difference between Aura and Caleb? Like, are you the same and just maybe turned up to 100, or is it like just little different things? Like
So,
what stands out to Aura and Caleb?
Aura is the title that I have when I hit the stage. You know,
Okay.
Caleb, once off stage, after I give you my Instagram, and I become Caleb again.
You're the
Um,
promoter. I will
so
definitely say you definitely promote your
yeah.
stuff. I like it.
Now, Aura, I guess, would be, say you have a teacher, right? And her name is Miss Williams, you know. She's Miss Williams and stuff when she's in the class teaching. She's the same person. She just understands her purpose under that title. So I feel as though when I walk into a space, you know, Miss Williams carries herself, whether her first name is Alexandra Williams and stuff, she carries that name into that classroom or carries a representation of herself, that
Hmm.
character. So I feel like Caleb holds the character, is the one that works on the character. You know, aura is the image, which means the aura verse, the brand and stuff like that, slap a logo on it and stuff. But just know that when it comes to the character, Aura is not playing the character, he's holding the character of Caleb, you know. So it doesn't matter what you refer to me as and stuff, the nature is still the same. Um, Caleb likes to be personal, you know. So when people come up to me to be like Aura or Caleb, it's just like, well, you know, you can call me Aura for now, you know, since we're in this space, you know. But like, if you hit, hey, yo, Caleb, what's up? You know what I mean? So there's really not much of a difference. Aura knows, well, when Caleb puts on the title of Aura, you know, it's because there's a purpose there's an assignment that needs to be fulfilled, you know, in the space that my music operates in. So when I go into the clubs, when I go to, you know, the events to promote, if there's any business interaction and stuff like that, dealing with music, the title is Aura, the name's Caleb. The purpose is driven by Aura because if I date a woman, I let it be known like you're dating me, not the artist, you know, because I don't have a musical purpose or assignment with you, so it's Caleb, you know.
Yep.
So I feel like it's
Yep.
just a difference of assignment and purpose. And Caleb also has a purpose with the people that I talk to because I'm not going to be rapping in their face all the time. But that's all it is. It's just music
Hey.
purpose. Hello, my name's Aura. Personal purpose. Hey, my name's Caleb. You know, so that's the
All
difference.
right. All right. So I like it. All right. So I always finish my episodes asking somebody, what's the future hold for you?
Mm.
I could just tell, man, you've got a very bright future, bro. You're only
Thank you,
23
man.
years old, so you've got plenty of time to grow.
Thank
Even
you,
with
man.
this COVID era, which I think hopefully it is
Hmm.
starting to deteriorate a lot more. So
Yeah,
obviously more concerts and
definitely.
stuff like that. So
Hmm.
how many concerts have you done so far?
This is my first like really official concert. I have done an
Okay.
opening before for a smaller scale concert, so let's say two, and then I performed at the Jags Beach Pavilion one time. So I would say three in total, three really official ones, not
Okay.
showcases, not open mics, but concerts officially. So yeah, three
Okay.
of them.
Hey man. Hey, congrats on that. You definitely did your thing.
Thank you, man.
You entertained the crowd. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You woke the fans up in ways like on
Yeah.
that show. I will definitely
Yeah.
say on that. But yeah, so we're gonna finish it off basically. So what does the future hold for you? And do you have any last you want to put in plugs? Also, guys, the links will be below. Literally right everything, so you can follow him first.
Mhm.
Or this has been and this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. So yeah, the future, to be honest, the future holds a lot of collaborations. What's that, man?
Yeah,
The future
I
holds a
I
lot
was
of
listening.
collaborations. You know what I mean? Just more relationships being built. And just, hey, I'm going to fulfill my assignment. So I'm just taking everything just a day at a time. But things are looking pretty promising. Filled with opportunities, filled with execution, you know. And plugs, I just want to shout out Alex Rodacker, greatest producer, has a project coming soon. Shout out to my homie All Wins, my engineer, and also a dope producer as well. Jamrock King, my homie who's just getting into music real heavy. Jaquan, aka Insert Your Username here. He's doing amazing visuals. He has those rolling out. And Mecca, the Day Crew, Nick G in Connecticut, just all my people all around, just want to shout all them out and stuff. And I have a website. It's the Auraverse. Yeah, I think it's theauraverse.com, so look it up. It's going to be in my link tree. My Instagram is IamMaura68, so IAMAURA. But if you did not hear anything else, and if you do not capture anything else on my plugs, I want you to rewind it from the top and just go and follow and support everybody that I shouted out, because those guys are on it. And shout out finally to the big brother, to my big bro, Jay Lyric, for the opportunity. New music is coming out soon with him, and it's going to be crispy. Shout out my management team, Venom Entertainment as well.
Hey
Yes,
man,
sir.
I appreciate this, man. This was an awesome blast. And man,
No
you're
doubt.
more than welcome to come on anytime you want. You just let me know and
Hey.
we'll set this up. So guys,
Mm-hmm.
this has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Or I appreciate you doing this and hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Peace.
All right. Be safe. All right, guys, get to go home queue. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Caleb, aka Or, for coming on today, having a great chat with us, and just talking about real, true history of music. Like that was really awesome to have a chat like that. And man, for him to only be 23 years old, to have that much knowledge, to to say stuff like that, man, that really speaks on his character itself. Big shout out to my boy Jay Lyric for inviting both of us. I mean, all that great talent that we had at the upcoming concert one night in Harlem. Guys, if you haven't, check out that episode. We reviewed the whole concert. Uh, Thank you to Facebook. There was monetizing rights that we had, and they can really just stop claiming my content right now because literally all that was licensed, all that was fine. And guys, no worries. Like, we're not getting in trouble for anything because we had all the rights to the music. But guys, this has been another great episode of Buzzing with Marlowe. This was episode 90, ladies and gentlemen. We are 9 episodes away from the big 100, guys. This has been an awesome chat. This has been fun, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Um, all our social media accounts. We also are on Reddit, guys. Also, you could check out the audio version on all our episodes on the followings. If you can see down there below, including Spotify, Anchor, Buzzsprout, Podbean, Podchaser, and most importantly, Audible and Amazon Music. So, guys, this has been an awesome chat. This has been another great time having a chat with y'all. Guys, this has been Buzzing with Marlowe. I'm out.